Hello, boys and girls. Today we are going to be going on our line adventure. I am excited to have myself and some other Fun Streams friends present how they created their line. There are many different types of lines that we will be talking about today, but we're going to be talking about the four major ones. So let us take a look. The first one is what we all do when we go to bed. We lay down and we are lying flat horizontally, so that Mr. Snoopy here is a very good example of a horizontal line. There's also horizontal lines that are used in patterns. We can see window panes have horizontal lines. There are furniture or man-made items that have horizontal lines. The top of a table would be really, really hard to use if it wasn't a flat horizontal line. If it was a disco diagonal, it would be rolling off left and right, all kinds of supplies. The one thing that I wanted to point out from this picture, some of my students said, well, Mrs. Stevenson, these aren't horizontal lines. You're absolutely right. The line of horizon that goes all the way across any type of landscape is where the sky and the ground touch. In fact, before Christopher Columbus went sailing off into the ocean blue, humans truly thought, whoa, do not go any farther, you'll fall off the face of the earth. And we all know that is not the case because scientists have figured out, thanks to our explorer, that the earth is round. So our line of horizon goes in a horizontal line. Our vertical lines go straight up and down in this pattern. Trees always grow up towards the sun. This Egyptian god has a nice, erect, tall, vertical posture. Strength was a very big symbol. When we look at this little cartoon character friend down here, they are standing in a vertical line. So that is numero dos. Let's see what our third tres line is. Disco diagonals. You can see this sweet turtle friend of ours that is going to be hard for that turtle to get up that diagonal line. When we look at patterns, artists have different reasons for bringing in that diagonal line. You can turn it into a zigzaggy line. Architects build homes that have beautiful angles at the diagonal. We have nature that is also a wonderful representation of a diagonal line. So that is numero tres. Numero cuatro. Our number 4 line is Mrs. Stevenson's favorite. I love this line. It is our curvy, swervy, curvilinear lines. Artists have lots to do with fashion. You can see this crazy fun socks in her pattern down here that have that curvilinear line. You can see this piece of fabric that has the curvilinear lines all throughout. My stained glass window here, you can see curvilinear lines in the design of the window. Think about if all of our roads were straight, vertical lines, horizontal lines, we would never be able to navigate around. So you can see this bridge that kind of curves on top of another roadway. My beautiful abstract tree example down here, Mrs. Stevenson didn't draw it. I found this on the web. I liked this tree because it almost gave the impression that it would kind of get up and move. And as we know, trees can't just uproot themselves and start walking. So I thought this was a unique kind of abstract way for an artist to use those curvilinear lines. So why are we talking all about all of these 4 lines? We have our horizontal lines. We have our disco diagonal lines. I don't know if I can do it backwards. We have our curvilinear lines. We have our vertical lines. You are going to create a picture using all 4 of these lines. The major thing for us to consider is, 1, when we do our piece of artwork, you can get any kind of piece of paper that you would like. If you have drawing paper at home, or you may also be able to do this line design in your sketchbook that was sent home with you. You want to use all 4 types of lines, and you're going to make sure that each line, and let me make sure that I can have all of you see what Mrs. Stevenson means. So I gotta X out of here. Bear with me, my dears. And I'm going to now show you what I mean. So if you're making a line, you want to make sure that your line touches the edge of your paper or another line. So for instance, it's kind of hard to see. I'm sorry, boys and girls, one momento. You want to make sure that your line touches either the edge of the paper or another line. For instance, if I have hopefully we know what this line is, curvilinear line, you want to make sure it touches the edge of the paper or another edge. So I have my first line, my curvilinear line. Then I'm going to make sure that I have all 4. So I might want to add some horizontal lines. Notice, I have to make sure that 1, my line touches an edge or another line. Edge, line. Now I have my vertical line. So I'm going to actually add a couple of vertical lines in this line design of mine. So you can see I kind of staggered it, and now it looks like it's kind of like a brick pattern with my vertical line straight up and down. The last one that I need is my disco diagonal. So maybe I want to do a ziggity zag and connect the dots, if you will. And I have my ziggity zag here. When you finish doing this and you have made all the lines touch the edge of the paper or the other part of a line that you already made, you're going to start to see the shapes that form because of the lines touching either the edge or another line. This is going to be the opportunity where you get to apply all the cool colors. So when you're finished doing your line design, you could decide maybe you want to outline it with black marker, or maybe you don't have a black marker and you want to go purple or red. It is really up to you. After you finish your lines and you have them dark, that's when you get to fill them in with all sorts of color. Mrs. Stevenson did not sweat the beautiful oops. When you are tracing, you can always just go over with an eraser and have that be easy peasy fix. I can't wait to have all of you try your line design, and then the magic happens when we pop that color. Woo! You are going to use something called balance. Let me show you by doing this little dance. You're gonna go from the top to the bottom, to the left, right, middle, from the top to the bottom, to the left, right, middle. Oh, I could do that all day, but I'm not going to because you'll get bored, right? So I'm going to make sure, 1, I don't go totally crazy on my lines, and I have so many lines I don't know what to do. And then 2, have enough spaces where the shapes are created so that I can use that pattern of color balance. The top, the bottom, the left, right, middle. So if I'm going from the top, and boys and girls, you guys are going to take way more time than I'm doing this right now. So I go from the top to the bottom, then the left, right, and middle. You are going to eventually run out of spaces and shapes. Now, you can see, without judging the look of this, because I want you guys to get to work, you can see I went from the top to the bottom to the left, right, middle. Now I have my next color I can use, which I'm a little predictable with my purple, I know. So what's that pattern song? We need to go from the top to the bottom, in the left, right, middle. So each color you use, you're creating a balance of harmony in the patterns you use. So all of the different colors you're going to be using, you're going to actually use them 5 times. It's all about balance through your artwork that makes the magic happen. I'm going to show you my next 5 pattern balance. So I went from the top to the bottom to the left, right, middle. Now, will you be scribbly scrabbling? No. In fact, let Mrs. Stevenson do the right thing and show you. If I'm coloring in, whether I'm using markers, or maybe you're using colored pencils, or maybe you're using pastels, whatever medium you would like to use is fine. We don't want to see any white through our paper because we want our lines, that almost looks black, doesn't it? But it is purple. We want to see our big shape pop out. When you're finished, I can't wait to see it. I hope you guys have a wonderful time of lines, of balance, and fun. See ya.